Hi, everyone. So today I'm going to talk about something that once again, I'm not sure if this is an autism thing, um, but hopefully you guys can relate to this. I mean, for me, I think this could be autistic for myself, but I haven't heard anybody else talk about this in this way. Not that I'm special or anything, but I'm just saying. So this very well may not have anything to do with autism. I will let you be the judge of that because I don't have any research to go off of. This basically has to do with laziness. And I know you don't have to be autistic to be lazy. I'm quite aware of that. Lots of people are lazy. Personally, I don't think there's really anything wrong with laziness as long as, other aspects of your life are decent. You're working, you can afford to pay your bills and stuff. But I am a very lazy person in a lot of ways. It's one of those things where, it's extremes. Either I am not lazy at all and I'm giving my absolute best, or I'm not giving my best at all. I don't know if that's an extreme, but those are the ends that I find myself on. So I thought I would share some of the things that I am a bit lazy at and why, and maybe somebody can email me and tell me if this is common among autistic people or not. Okay, so I just want to preface this by saying that when it comes to working for money, which that sounds so bad, but when it comes to working for money, I am not lazy. I don't cut corners with work. I take my time. I do my best. I just believe that if somebody is willing to part with their money, they're going to want quality work, whether it's me working for somebody else, which will never fucking happen again, or me working at home on books for people. So if I'm doing something for somebody else, in that capacity, I'm just not lazy. I don't have it in me to just be lazy at work. I can't just get paid and not do my best because I will feel so guilty. So that's one category that doesn't apply to, me doing things. My motto is, as long as it's good enough, who cares? But with work, it has to be better than good enough. Most of the things that I produce, for example, I'm plugging my journals again. You can go on Amazon and find them under Autistic Ange if you want. You don't have to, but if you want to. So that's an example of something I'm producing that I'm doing my very, very best at. I'm not cutting corners. However, I'm realizing that I don't really have them formatted. I mean, they're formatted fine, but there's some formatting errors here and there when I go to see what they look like on Kindle. And it really fucking frustrates me because I'm not good with this stuff. And it took me so long that I thought I had formatted it correctly, and to find out that I didn't is just fucking annoying. So those are mistakes that I would like to get rid of very quickly as soon as possible. Because that's not something that I want out there. Even though people don't really know who I am. But those are the exceptions. So I will start with just basic things. Shoveling, which is something that I did about an hour ago. We got 5 inches maybe. And it's the heavy shit where it was raining too. And I don't know, back in the day, I'm so fucking old. I would say as recent as 5 years ago, which I think 5 years ago, that's when I started, when the mask was falling hardcore and I wasn't able to keep it up and I was losing my shit at work. But about up to about 5 years ago, I did do all of these things as best as I could because I didn't believe in being lazy. I believed that everything that you do, you should give your all at. And maybe you should, but I don't. And I stopped doing that because there's just some things I realized that I don't need to bust my ass over. And the reason why I think these things are autistic, I know I was just talking about shoveling, but the reason why I think this is an autistic thing is because, like, I justify this by there's just so much in my life I struggle with and that I have to, like, make myself comfortable with, that in these other areas, I don't really feel like putting all my energy into those things because I need it for, like, other things that I really do struggle with. Does that make sense? So back to the shoveling. I shoveled. It was good enough. Like, I did a little path on the sidewalk so people had just enough room to walk, but not side by side. The porch steps, like, I got the snow off of that, but, like, there's still a little layer of ice. And I just didn't feel like using my body arm strength, I don't know, to get that shit off. Like, I woke up to people, like, chipping away at that shit on the sidewalk. Like, I woke up and my neighbor off to the left, I looked out the window and he was just, like, going to town trying to get this ice off of his driveway. And I was thinking, like, dude, it's going to be warm in, like, 2 days and that shit will melt. But I guess people, I don't know, maybe they need to leave sooner than that. I'm just thinking about, like, it's easy for me to stay home for 2 days, but probably not for other people. But anyways, I shoveled. I did just enough so Alicia has room to get her car in, and I did the sidewalk and the steps, and I didn't do a very good job, and I don't care. I didn't want to go out there and do it anyways. I sure as fuck am not using the snowblower because that was a disaster last year, and I'm never touching that thing again. And another thing I used to do, which I don't know if this has anything to do with the topic, but Janice, our 70-plus-year-old neighbor slash friend slash family, lives on the other side of us, and I used to, like, shovel. She's got 2 fucking driveways. Lucky her, but she's got 2 regular-sized driveways, and so I would shovel those or snow blow them, and I don't do that anymore. I stopped doing that this year, and I feel like kind of a dick, but I just don't feel like shoveling her shit. It's not like she asked me to. It's not like she expects me to. But I used to think that, like, that was expected of me. Like, years ago, I was like, okay, like, I would mow her whole fucking lawn for her, too. And she's got so much grass that, like, you need a rider. And she's got one, but I won't use it because I don't want to break it. But, like, I would do stuff like that. And if I did it once in my head, not if I did it in my head, but, like, you know, if I did it one time, then I told myself, well, I have to keep doing this now. It's going to be expected of me. And, like, it's not. So anyways, I guess what I'm trying to say is I didn't shovel her shit. And I don't feel bad about it. And Alicia can decide if she wants to snow blow her driveways when she gets home. But I don't want to, and I'm not going to. And it's not because I'm trying to be mean to Janice. It's just, like, I am trying to just stop doing things that, like, I really don't want to do. And I'm not trying to be, like, a bitch to people, like, you know, hey, everybody, I'm autistic, so what I say goes now. You know, like, it's not like that. But yeah, so shoveling. And by the way, when I used to shovel her shit, it was never just good enough because, like, I was doing it for somebody else. So I did a really, really good job, but that's probably why I don't want to keep shoveling for her. Anyways, mowing the lawn, I was just talking about that. You know, like, when I mow our lawn, I miss, like, a little line sometimes. You know, when you go up and down the yard and you get those nice, pretty lines. Sometimes I have that little strip of grass that, like, I just missed it. So you see all of the cut grass, and then, like, it's so obvious that there's this, like, strip that, like, you just didn't mow. And oftentimes I won't go back and mow it. I don't, like, it doesn't bother me that there's a part of the yard that just doesn't look like the rest. I don't give a fuck. Part of it, I think, is like a bit of a rebellion because across the street is this guy that I'm fairly certain is autistic, but at the very least, like, I think he's got some OCD stuff because his lawn is like, he keeps it meticulous. You cannot park on one blade of grass. He doesn't like people walking through it. He's mowing like every fucking 2 days. It's just crazy. So part of me is like, that's kind of funny that like he can see this strip of grass that I didn't mow. I wonder if that's going to bother him. That's such an asshole thing to do, but that's usually why I leave it. Plus I'm too lazy to go back and mow that tiny little strip, which doesn't really make sense because I could spend 20 minutes mowing, but I will not spend an extra 10 seconds just cleaning up that one part. Vacuuming the house. I don't move all the chairs and the furniture. Sorry, excuse me. I just don't move that shit. Like, I do once a month, which makes me sound like a dirty bird, but like, I'm not. And Alicia is the one who does like what I call the big cleans. Like, she's the one that does the mopping of the floors every so often. She just does, like, when I clean the oven, as long as it's clean enough, like, don't get me wrong, there's not a bunch of shit caked on it or anything like that. Just like sometimes there's like those spots that like you just have to put that extra like elbow grease in, and I don't feel like doing that, or I can't do it and I just leave it for another time. That's kind of how I go about cleaning, because I know that Alicia's going to do the big cleans every so often. So, and I try to keep up with the daily maintenance, but some stuff I'm just like, I don't really give a fuck. Like, I vacuum out in the open where I don't have to move shit. I clean the oven as long as like it doesn't look like a disgusting piece of metal. The counters, like, I do clean those, but like, if I see a spot, I'm not going to scrub it that hard. That does make me sound dirty, but I'm not. It's not dirty in here. I just like, I don't like to clean. I don't think anybody likes to clean. I've never met anybody that truly enjoys it, but it's not a big deal to me if like, I don't care if there's spots. Like, if I'm cleaning the sink and there's like some water spots or whatever, like, I don't give a fuck. I'll get it another time. This part is gross, and I don't know if I should share it, but I think I just will, because I do this, and this does make me sound gross, but I'm gonna just share it anyways because you guys don't know me. So all right, so I'll just take Thanksgiving as an example. Years ago, like when I actually was talking to my family and like I would go over for Thanksgivings and stuff like that, my dad and I would be the ones that would do the dishes at the end usually. And I think I got this from him. I don't remember, but like, I remember us like cleaning this one pan, and like, we were at my grandpa's and he didn't have a dishwasher. So we were the dishwashers, and we were cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. And there was this one pan where like, there's just this couple of spots caked on, like you really couldn't get them off. And we didn't feel like letting it soak because that meant that we would have to go back and do it because our grandpa just didn't do shit like that. So we would just leave those little spots of food or whatever the fuck is stuck on the pan, and we called them "see you laters," because the next time you pull the pan out, it's going to be there and you better clean it before you use it. You don't have to, but that's the idea. So I will be washing stuff, and we don't have a dishwasher. I personally think that that's a waste of money because there's only 2 of us. We don't use that much to fill a dishwasher. But I occasionally, like, there will be a pan that I've used that if I don't feel like soaking it, which is lazy because I don't soak it, because then I know I'll just have to go back, and every time I go by the sink I'll be looking at it and it'll be waiting for me to clean it, and I just don't need that stress. So what I would rather do is, if I try my very best to get everything off, even using a scrub daddy, those are fucking awesome, but we don't always have one in the house, so I might leave a see you later on a pan. And Alicia's like, that's fucking gross. And I'm like, yeah, well, I don't give a shit because I'm okay with that. You know, like, I justify it by, like, caveman days. They didn't have plates and shit. You know, like, they didn't have soap. They didn't clean silverware. So, like, what's the fucking difference? It's like a little spot on a pan or, you know, whatever. But yeah, as long as it's clean enough. Like, if I clean it enough and it's usable again, that's fine. However, like, if somebody gives us something to eat in Tupperware, I will never leave spots on that when I bring that back, because I will never, ever, ever, like, I don't want people thinking I'm gross, even though I kind of am, but that's just rude to not thoroughly clean Tupperware or a plate that somebody gives you with food on it. Anyways, what else? In school, I sucked at math and science. Pretty much anything that wasn't interesting to me, I sucked at. Geography, biology. You know, my motto back in high school was like, well, as long as like I pass those classes, then I don't really care. And then I got to college where grades became just a little bit more important, and I kept the same philosophy for classes. Like, I had to take a couple of math classes in statistics, and those sucked, but I was able to pass them I was like, I thought to myself, just as long as it's good enough, as long as like you get a D, like that's still passing. I don't care. Like, I did not care about perfection. I didn't care about having all A's. Like, that stuff didn't really matter to me. It just mattered that I passed college, like that I got through it. But like this shit that like I knew I was never going to use again, I just was like, why am I learning this? Why does this have to be, like, I went to school for criminal justice and psychology. And look at me now. But I don't regret my experience. I loved college. But, you know, like, some of that shit was hard. And I didn't see the point in taking classes that didn't have anything to do with your major or your minor. So I just didn't give that much effort. Plus, like, they were hard for me to learn anyway, so that was, like, a big part of it, was I just was feeling like, I know I'm not going to be able to learn this very well, let me just try to get through this. But the other classes that did apply to my major, I aced, like, no problems. Car washes. I don't wash my car because I'm lazy and it rains, and in my mind, I just think that, well, that's water that comes from the sky, and when you drive, it'll splash up under your car and wash off the salt from the winter, you know, or the dirt or whatever. Like, I don't wash my car. I just don't feel like it. I don't care enough about my car to fucking take it to a washer. Like, the guy across the street I was just talking about, oh my God, during the summer, like, once a week, he's washing, like, they got 2 or 3 cars, he's washing them by hand. And that's some dedication, but, no, I would never fucking do that, because when I saw him doing that, and I realized that this was, like, a pattern, like, after the 3rd year, this is just, like, oh, this must be what he does. He doesn't need to save the money, because the guy's got a good job, but I just thought to myself, like, dude, there's fucking car washes, take your car to a car wash, you can afford it. But when Alicia and I go through a car wash, it's in her car, and it's because she wants to go through. And it's always funny to me because those manual, like, not manual, the automated car wash things, like, they don't do a very good job. Like, they give you the different things you can pay for, and you can pay for all of the cleaning services in your car, and it still will miss something. So, like, we had gone through this car wash like a month or so ago, and this bird, I don't know what bird was eating what, but it perped poople. Oh my God. Sorry, that I don't know why that made me laugh. It perped. Holy fuck. It pooped purple poop. Try saying that like 5 times. And it was on like the side of the driver's window. I cannot talk today. I'm sorry. And we went through the car wash, and the poop remained. It did not come off the fucking window. And she was not happy. And I was like, holy shit, man, that's some strong ass poop. And then like we took it to a car wash again, I don't know, like a week or 2 later, and it's still parts of the poop remained on the window. Which just confirmed to me that it's just a waste of money to bring your car to a car wash, in my opinion. If they're not gonna, I don't know, like, if you're paying that much money, it should just be spotless, in my opinion. But, so yeah, I mean, she's really, like, she takes care of her cars like normal adults are supposed to do, and that means taking them to car washes or doing them yourself, but I don't give a fuck. I don't do that. I'm too lazy to. And I'm not about the manual labor outside of washing my own car. Like, why would I do that? If I really wanted my car clean, there's services that do it for me, because I'm that lazy. Wrapping presents around, like, Christmas. I don't understand the people that think that they have to wrap perfect presents. Like, it has to look perfect. Like, who the fuck is, like, looking at a present and they're like, oh my God, look at how great that is wrapped. Who does that? So I don't, because I grew up with a mother who was constantly worried about what other people thought of her. And she would spend so much time wrapping presents so they were just right. There was, like, no wrinkle. I always hated that, because what a waste. Like, it's wrapping paper. The purpose of the wrapping paper is to cover the present so that you hand it to the person and they're surprised. They don't know what's inside, but let's rip off the paper and look. Like, they're not looking at how well the gift is wrapped. I'm sorry, I just keep repeating myself, but, like, I never understood this. So I do my best, and that's as good as it gets. Like, as long as the thing is covered and it looks halfway decent, not like a 5-year-old wrapped it, then, like, I'm fine. I don't give a fuck that it doesn't look perfect, because that's a waste of time to me. So yeah, I mean, as long as it's good enough and it's wrapped, who gives a fuck? There's some food that I will make if, like, I use the microwave a lot because it's just easy. And I don't like to cook for myself. I don't really like to cook, period, but I have to for Alicia because she likes to eat actual food. I use the microwave a lot. Maybe I'll heat up a burrito or something, and, like, the middle is a little bit cold, but I didn't realize that until I got back to my room and I'm sitting in my recliner in front of the TV. Am I going to get back up and put that in the microwave? No, I'm just going to eat the cold spot or eat around it. Yeah, I'm just too lazy to go, like, make sure something is thoroughly heated, because that just requires extra energy that I don't feel like expending. But I do that quite often. Yeah, because I can never get those times down, even though it says, like, put this in for so many minutes on a box. Like, I mean, I don't eat, like, Hungry Man's. Do they even make those anymore? But, like, I get, like, Aldi's has these breakfast bowls, and, you know, it's like a meal in a bowl. So, like, I'll get those sometimes and heat those up. But if some of it's cold, that's fine. Building things, like, outside. Like, last year, Alicia did the porch steps. She didn't quite finish it because winter came before we were able to get, like, the railings up. So we just hope that, like, the people that bring the mail, if there's snow or ice on the steps, they just toss the stuff up, because I don't want somebody coming up and slipping and then, like, we get sued or something, like. But she was making these porch steps last year, and she was doing, I think they're called toe kicks is what she called them. I'm not even going to try to explain those. You can look them up if you don't know what they are. But she had put them all in, and she got the steps in, and then we stood back from our house and we looked to see how nice they looked, and I thought they looked great. She did well with the toe kicks. She put them together like a pro. She's never done porch steps before. I was just fucking amazed. But she honed in on, like, one scratch on one of the toe kicks, and I was like, why is that important? Like, who gives a fuck if there's a scratch on that? And she's like, well, I do, because, like, I made it. And I was like, well, you made it and it does what it needs to do. We can get up and down into the house now. So who cares if there's, like, a scratch on the toe kick? It's really not that important to me. But that's that's one thing that she doesn't really care too much about me, because I will just buy things that aren't up to standard, apparently. Like, I will buy a sweatshirt that has a string hanging from it if that's the only sweatshirt in that size at that store and I want it. Like, I'll just take it home and clip the little string off. No big deal. Like, that doesn't bother me. If I want that sweatshirt that bad, I can overlook like a string hanging. That's not a big deal to me, but it is to her, which is so funny. I don't know. Maybe it should be to me too, but I don't really care. Yeah, I mean, like, we'll be at Lowe's picking out like wood for some project that she's doing, and she has to find just the right pieces of wood that don't have crap on them or don't have like a scrape or something like that. And I just don't get that. I'm like, who cares? You know, you can still use most of this piece, so just buy it. What else? Making the bed. I don't do that really anymore. Well, I do. I used to do it like, you know, you get up in the morning before you leave the house or whatever, you make the bed. I don't fucking do that anymore. I make the bed at night, like 5 minutes before Alicia's supposed to go to sleep. That's when I make the bed. And I don't even do it that well, you know, like, as long as the sheets are in order, they don't need to be tucked in or anything. Who cares? So I'm lazy with that. When I am drying clothes, like, I'll pull them all out. Like, this doesn't happen. Like, most of the time this doesn't happen, but once in a while, you get like that damp shirt, like it didn't quite dry all the way, and it's like the only piece of clothing that is damp. And I won't find that out until I came upstairs and dumped the laundry on the floor, and I'm folding it. Not that the floor is dirty, it's like a rug, but anyways, I don't think that matters. But yeah, so if I come across a damp shirt or something, I do not go all the way back down to the basement and put it in the dryer and then set the timer for like 10 minutes or whatever, go back upstairs, finish folding the laundry, put that laundry away, go back downstairs, dry mouth, and, you know, like, get that dried shirt out of the dryer. Like, it's not that important to me to dry that fucking shirt, because that's too much energy to just spend to just completely dry one shirt. Like, if it's a little damp, I'm okay with that. Like, it'll either dry, like, I can hang it up and like it can air dry, or, you know, maybe it won't dry and like I go to unfold it to wear it and it has that gross like damp smell, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, oh well, and I'll just throw it in the laundry, cause who cares? And sometimes I'm just like, man, like, do other people do this? Like, is it normal to be that lazy to not want to go back downstairs to like throw one piece of clothing in the dryer just to make sure it's dried all the way? Like, I don't care to do that. I don't even do it with Alicia's stuff. And so like, I won't tell her until she'll like, sometimes like a shirt won't have dried all the way and she'll go to put it on and it'll be a little damp. And I was like, oh, I thought it'd be dry by now. Sorry. So there's that. Is there anything else? I'm sure there's tons of stuff that I'm missing. Oh, like lint rollers, because we have tons of cats, and not tons, like 4. We used to have 5. 5's like a good limit. Don't go past 5, unless you have like a big house. But when I used to work for other people, I would have to make sure that I did not have cat hair on my clothes, because apparently people don't want to see that when they interact with you at work. So I would have a lint roller at home and at work, and like I got most of it, but I wasn't sitting there trying to get every piece of hair. Like, I didn't care if there was a patch or 2 here of cat hair. Like, I really don't give a fuck. So it was good enough that I got most of it off. And like, I did have a supervisor one time note that like, she was like, why do you have animal hair on you? Like, you're at work. I was like, yeah, I did like use the lint roller, but like I didn't have time to like finish. And she's like, well, here's one now. And she pulled one out of her drawer, and I had to sit there and like get all the hair off of my Sure. And I was like, what's the big damn deal? Like, I got most of it off. Like, you should have seen what it looked like before I came to work. But I guess that's not the point. I just like, I don't know, as long as things are good enough, then I'm okay with it. Like, I don't care if I eat a plate that has a little crusty on it. I don't care, like, if I get or give a present that's like poorly wrapped. I don't care. If it's good enough, it's good enough for me. And it should be good enough for you. And if it's not good enough for you, then do it yourself. Oh, I think I sounded like a bitch, but I'm not trying to be a bitch. But yeah, I don't know if I wasted your time. I hope I didn't if you're still listening. But I really, like I said before, this is definitely not like a podcast about me imparting education. Imparting, is that the right way to use that? Anyways, I don't have a whole lot of education to provide because I'm still in the dark about a lot of this stuff. So I'm talking about it in the hopes that, like, maybe if you do this, you can relate. And maybe if you do this, you can tell me that you do this. Like, is this autism? Is it just I'm a lazy bitch? I don't know. I still think it could be autism because, like, I do these things with, like, I half-ass a lot of stuff because I just feel that energy could be put to better use in some other aspect of my life that day that might give me anxiety, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to use up energy on stupid chores. Oh my God, I gotta end this now. Yeah. Thank you for listening if you still are. Please let me know if you do these things. Or just feel free to send me an email and be like, dude, you're lazy. I don't care. That's okay if you do that too. All right, bye.